And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
So, real quick, November 22nd, 1985, Philadelphia Spectrum. You end up with a match with Ron Shaw.
Okay, that's why. Okay, well, I was angry because this goes to the grooming part. Here, I've beaten Ron Shaw on TV, and he's a nice guy, good way. I'm not knocking him, but it's just the way that everything was put together. Here's a guy that I have been beaten on TV, not only in the Independence TV, but also in the WWF. And they put me on a packed house. They put me with him in Philadelphia. Like, who? Well, who? How is David getting better? He's being the same guy that he's been on. And it just showed me right then and there, well, see, they're not doing. This is ridiculous. Even an idiot like me can see that there's nothing going to be done. They're just, there's no grooming. They're just, give him the Duke, and that'll make him happy. That wasn't making, it's just, I was angry. So I thought, okay. And there had been a couple of things prior to that. I was getting like, well, it shows my immaturity and it shows my impatience. But at the same time, I've been around it for a while, and I know what you feel, you see, And I thought, well, I just got mad, and I just says, well.
Did you call it right on that spot, or did you just?
I told Ron Shaw beforehand, this is what we're going to do, and I made him do it.
Okay.
And I just didn't care at that point. I just said, well, we're gonna show. But you know what? I worked hard doing it. I didn't just I made sense of it.
No.
I let him hurt my back,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
showed him. I made a match of it, and he hurt me, and he was the better guy that night. I just didn't, what do they call flop or just whatever.
All right.
Straight to the top. We're living this life, not just dreaming it, we're doing it for real. Straight to the top. Working hard every day just to live a better way.
We had David Sammartino in studio.
Oh, here we
Maybe his
here we go.
only interview. Oh, here he goes. That's
What?
All right.
I'm rooting
Whatever.
that he answers
He clears
this
his story.
truthfully.
Listen, let me just ask the question. Can I ask the question?
I've asked this question 15 times. I've been asked this question, and I've given the same answers. Why don't you just go back and Google my other shows that I was on? There's 14 other shows. But go ahead. Go
All right.
ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Okay. First of all, you're on Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. But so instead, here's the question I'm going to ask you. Instead of with the kayfabe bullshit and acting like he hurt his back, why don't you finally reveal to the fans that Sammartino told you what was going to happen, and you did what you had to do because that was your role, and stop keeping this story that you go from show to show going on. Admit it on this show.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something right now. First of all, what I'm going to say about David Sammartino, when he came into the WWF, he was probably the strongest, if not the strongest wrestler that I've ever seen. And especially when you combine that with a great wrestling talent and knowledge of holds and counter holds, this guy was really a superstar. But on a fateful night in November 1985, after two big slugs behind his head, 6 or 7 body slams later, which nobody can take, he walked out of that ring holding his back, and he heard it on his show. He said, I heard his back. I was the better man that night. Now, if you want to believe what he said, you go right ahead and believe what he said. But I've said all I can say about it is that, and here's another thing. You Google anywhere, YouTube, Vimeo, or any other search engine, and watch that match and see the comments below. 99.9% of the fans back Big Ron Shaw. and they know what happened. And some people, that small percentage, they say, well, Ron Shaw stepped in the ring. You can see he's telling Dusty Feldbomber to finish. I remember exactly when I said that Dusty Feldbomber, just to prove you wrong and some of the other fans wrong, is I said, hey, Dusty, it looks like a good sellout tonight. That's what I said. I wasn't telling him any finish because you know what? I had in my mind what I was going to do that night. Because when I heard some type of a rumor going on in that dressing room, I did what I was going to do, the right thing. Now, I hope that answers your question, Monty, Mr. Wise Guy.
Well, let me try it another way. Let me try it this way. Hello, Ron.
No.
Did David Sammartino really hurt you?
It's the kid across the
or
pond.
not?
You
Or
punk.
did you give it up, Ron?
You punk. You punk.
I'm a punk.
Let me tell you something. It wouldn't take me no more than 2.5 hours to fly down there
No.
and slap your
No.
face all over that
No,
damn
please don't.
studio. You understand me? I'm done.
Not a-
I'm done.
Come on, man.
Pharaoh,
Come
thank
on,
you,
Ron.
man. You were the man.
Bye, Ron.
This should be the Pharaoh and Monty show.
Bye,
And
Ron.
Let me tell you something, Monty. If I ever do a convention down in New York City, I hope you're there. Over and out.
Great. Good interview, buddy. Good choice. That guy was a gentleman. That was a gentleman for you, everybody. The
Matt-
great Ron Shaw.
Wait a minute, Matt.
The great Ron Shaw.
Did he hang up and just disappear just now?